Hello, welcome to the Yoga Local podcast. My name is Josie and I'm recording this at our studio here in Wellingborough in the UK. Welcome, thanks for coming. So, what are we going to talk about today? Well, it's a topic that I love to talk about. And what I want to first of all get across is that contrary to what most folks think, yoga is more about making friends with ourselves and who we truly are, and moving past any mental afflictions, any objections, any resistance that gets in the way of our perception of true self and our reality, than it is the shapes that we can pull off. Okay, so yes, our physical practice is amazing. I love physical practice, and yes, it can help the likes of Trevor, who may have fallen off his shed roof, sorry Trevor, and injured his back possibly, and he wants a fix for that. Yoga practice, physical practice may help Trevor with that. It may also help Sarah, who is feeling a bit stiff and achy. She runs all the time and she wants to stretch in between runs. It's also definitely going to be of service to someone like Sarah. However, no one should be surprised if they're going to a traditional lineage-based practice, something that's rooted in the 5,000-year-old teachings, that's not really what yoga is. Okay, no one should be surprised. Okay, so what is it? What is it, yoga? And I think this is a conversation, I can't believe that it's a conversation that is happening all the time. People struggle, they're not sure what we're practicing. So what is it? So as a former journalist, I think stories are a great way of explaining, and often we recognize ourselves in the stories that we tell. So I've created a few ideas of who you might relate to in the blog post, which is attached to this podcast. Okay, so when we start to see ourselves in someone else, it really helps us to find very practical applications of these teachings and explore the consequences of getting lost in all the stuff, all the manifest stuff, the postures, the poses, right? In the worldly pursuits, in the pursuit of performance, in the pursuit of that headstand, in the pursuit of crow pose or some fancy, arm balance. If we get lost in that and we avoid the potential for introspection of meeting ourselves where we're at, if we allow ourselves to get out of our own way and stop resisting endings, these are the things that are going to help us evolve and grow and become all we can be. And for me, as a yoga teacher, that is what I'm here to do. I'm not, yes, we'll get more flexible. Yes, we'll get stronger. We'll become more resilient. All those incredible things that being more physically capable brings us. It brings us confidence, right? But we need to get around some of the more practical applications of these teachings, as they are related to becoming more aligned with who we are, making friends with who we are, understanding that maybe we've got lost along the way due to the demands, the societal demands, our parental demands, our peer demands, right? There's a shedding that has to go on. There's first of all a very real light, a lens that has to be drawn to what is, and then it's about gently, compassionately moving past those mental afflictions that get in the way of discovering our true sense of self. And because there's some very real implications for not being yourself, right? If you're constantly seeking external validation of who you are and what you should be doing, there's going to be this constant nagging dissatisfaction in your life and a disconnection from who you are. If you're constantly avoiding and distracting yourself from the inner challenges that come with recognizing that you're not where you want to be, this is also going to perpetuate these cycles of unhappiness and not being fulfilled. If we can't then let go of those things, right? If we become too attached to Josie as this particular construct that we've created over 51 years, if we can't let go of that attachment, if we fear the ending, this is the fear of death that the yoga speaks of, and it sounds a bit morbid, but it's the fear of endings. It's not allowing things to come to a natural conclusion, and then we struggle, and then we resist, and we hold on, and that causes a sense of resistance, right? We fear endings, we fear change, and we can't then move forward. We're kind of stuck. We're held back from embracing who we could be. We get held back from embracing that transformation. And then also it's the impermanence, right? As we start to explore who we really are, like we start to witness that, it's a constantly moving feast, right? We're not who we were 10 years ago. We're definitely not who we were 20, 30, 40 years ago. But we're not even who we were like the minute we walked through the door, okay? Our bodies aren't fixed and static. They're in this constant state of flow. And recognizing the impermanent nature of everything really helps us to make this moment really precious, okay? You'll never have this moment again. You'll never have this body again. You'll never have this hair again. Maybe not for longer than some people, I don't know. But like everything's going to change, right? And our struggle with accepting those things really brings us into a dissatisfaction, right, with life and with who we are, and suddenly we're not thriving at all. So yeah, yoga, taught as it was meant to be taught, is getting us into these deeper truths. It's helping us to move past our obstacles. Physical, yes, but mentally, emotionally. And as we dive deeper into who we are, we can discover this deeper connection to ourselves, and we can start to be more compassionate with ourselves and what we need in order to grow, in order to evolve. There may be moments when we resist, right? Or we stumble, and it's during these times that maybe we can look at the stories, such as the ones that I've included in the blog post, the stories where we recognize ourselves in someone else, and that can give us that aha moment that, God, yeah, I'm in that space. I am resisting, or I am starting to put more of my well-being and placing my well-being on objects, on things, on staying a certain way and not allowing that natural ebb and flow of life. So yeah, imagine a person who's constantly seeking external validation, measuring their worth solely based on their achievements. Have you ever come across a person like that? They've got everything in life, but there's still something missing, right? Maybe that's you. And it reminds us that it shouldn't, our sense of satisfaction, our sense of who we are, shouldn't rely on anything that's outside of ourselves, right? Yeah, and then maybe consider another individual who's driven by fear and avoids, constantly distracts, your ultimate kind of, I'm way too busy, filling their life from end to end, and willing to take a look at the things that are getting in the way. So they kind of fill their life with stuff, with activities, and wear their busyness like a badge of honor. And it's just that inability to be able to pause and just address what needs to be addressed so that they can start to make those next steps forward. Getting slow, being able to calm down the mind are really, really important skills, especially in modern day living, right? So that we can let go of what's not serving us, release the attachments, become more free. That's the freedom that yoga speaks of, right? When we understand who we are, we can let go of the attachments, we can flow more with nature, not resisting, and being more part of the creative natural process. The less we suffer, the more we thrive, and the more abundance and affluence that we can come across in our life. So, you know, the real magic is not in being able to take your body to a specific level of strength or flexibility. That's not the goal, okay? The magic lies in the consistency of coming to a practice which helps you look fully square on at who you are, or who you are being, rather than who you actually are, starting to uncover the things that are getting in the way, all the constructs, all the conditioning that you've acquired throughout your life that have arrived you squarely in this moment as who you're putting across in life. And then assessing, is that who I really am? And have I moved so far away from that I'm suffering and something not quite right? And it's an adventure, and it's often quite, it's liberating, and it's exciting to then suddenly start to see the potential in that. Okay, the potential for what else, right? Because if you kind of already decided, oh, this is me, where's the growth, right? Where's the possibility? Where's the adventure, right? You're going to limit yourself from situations. You're going to pull yourself back from certain friendships, from relationships. You're going to close off from the opportunities that come to your way, saying, well, that's not for me, I'm not good enough for that, or I don't do that kind of thing. So, or, you know, and we limit and we limit and limit until we become so fixed, so constricted, so tight, you know, and our bodies kind of show that, don't they, right? We're tight, our bodies are tight, and then, you know, we suffer, okay? So the yogis knew this. It's part of the human condition, and the practices that they have gifted us and that they've held for thousands of years and passed on through these lineages, through these schools that have been like around for thousands of years, and somehow they've been protected, somehow they've been passed on orally, because we all know that that history is not always as it's written down, but orally this has been passed on. So these have been preserved. The Indian tradition has, in my opinion, I think, been the tradition that's managed to hold on to these, or it's managed to protect these teachings for the longest. My personal view is that this is human wisdom, and in India they've managed to preserve these teachings better than the rest of us. But they're applicable to anyone, regardless of color, creed, age, gender, race, whatever. These are all teachings that apply to the human condition, right? So, are you ready to embark on this transformative adventure, right? Are you recognizing yourself in some of those stories that I've outlined in the blog post? Do you want to go beyond posture and flexibility and just performative kind of success, and start to claim your right to something bigger, something greater, something more expansive? Because that is what yoga is all about. That is the scope of yoga at its full potential, and that is what we teach here in this very back of beyond studio in Middle England, right? But we are committed to helping our members take that journey and pass on the teachings as they were meant to be taught via practices that we haven't made up. These are practices that have been passed on to us via our teachers and their teachers and their teachers' teachers. And it's a real gift to be able to offer them. And if you're ready to receive them, we invite you to join us. There are many ways that you can start your journey here. You can like just follow us, subscribe to our podcast, join our app where you can become part of our membership group completely free of charge and start to get some of these wisdoms pretty much on the daily. You can also join us online, so wherever you are, we have live online classes. We also have on-demand classes that you can tap into, and they're all available via the app as well. Or if you're local, if you happen to be local, and you want to come and check us out here in the studio, we love to have you here. We're a small studio, but we welcome everyone, and start to join our community. We'd love to see you there. Okay, bye for now.